Today we will be looking at some strategies for our verbal linguistic journal entries. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to make edits to your journal entries. Hopefully by now you are finished your backgrounds. You should have one for each of your characters, so 2 in total. Please be sure to include the following information in your background: character's name, age, where they live, who they live with, and their job. Don't get too carried away with the details. Save that for your journal entries. Something that's difficult for writers is getting the timelines right for their entries. We know the accident happened on April 26, 1986, but does that have to be when our journal starts? You can choose to start your journal entries earlier to establish a voice for your character. In writing about the explosion, please keep in mind that first responders will be writing about this after the event. Nurses will write after their shift, and so will firefighters. Be careful about writing as one of these characters, as they won't be able to write for long if they get sick. You're probably better off writing as a spouse or a child of those first responders. Keep your timelines in mind when writing so that your entries can be accurate. The evacuation of Pripyat happened on April 27th at around 2 p.m. Residents of the town were told to grab some belongings that they would need for the 2 weeks before getting on a bus to their relocation area. If you're writing about a character with ARS from being on the scene of the accident, like a first responder, please note that it would take about 2 weeks to 3 months for them to pass away. Sometimes writers confuse the style of writing a diary entry with the style of writing a narrative. A narrative tells a story from a certain point of view. Your journal entries you are sharing are a perspective as that person. This means there should not be dialogue in the entries. That's only necessary in narrative writing. You should write with I, my, and other personal pronouns since you're writing as your character. These pronouns do not belong in the background description. Descriptive language is a great tool in these entries if it's used properly. This descriptive language should be used to convey your character's feelings. You can elaborate and give more detail to show characters' thoughts and feelings throughout the journal entries. Take a look at this sentence. I was so shocked I couldn't believe it. Does this show feeling? Yes, it does, but it could be stronger. This is what elaborating does. Now, if I add some elaboration, this is what it could look like. I felt like what I was seeing wasn't real, like it was a figment of my imagination. Not only will your reader be more interested, but they will also have a better understanding of how your character is feeling.
Created using Powtoon.